Hello, everyone. I know this has been a crazy week and a half, but I wanted to check in with video. Sometimes I think things can be a little bit clearer. I know you've been flooded with some announcements from everybody, including me, because things have slowly been kind of coming into my inbox about what the different people are wanting to hear from you guys about. In particular, those without Adobe Access, we're needing to know if you do need it, and if so, what platform? Are you a Mac or are you a PC user? And then also from everybody, if you guys have access to internet the whole time, you'll be, at this point, I'm guessing it's going to be for the rest of the semester. Certainly for us, it just makes sense to, um, since it's already set up to be online class anyway. So I just want to kind of walk you through some different things here. One thing that has changed, I am no longer requiring critiques from people for their peer critiques. I will be critiquing, and you are very welcome to do some. So, for example, let's see here. This one is still up for the final, right? For those of you guys who don't have access to Adobe yet, and have already used up your trial version, just email me and let me know what's going on with that. Everything in terms of lateness, I'm not going to be deducting points for lateness. And if we'll just kind of take this day by day, honestly. So the next one that's up for critique is going to be the logo and the brand guide. And this one, I had it originally as a discussion post so that people could do critiques, but I've decided not to do that. So I still want you to upload them here simply because it allows people to see your work. Even if they don't want to comment or don't have time to comment, they can at least look at some other people's works. So I still want you to do a written component just so I understand what your purpose is. And then optionally, if you have time to critique other work, then by all means, go ahead and do this. I will consider, if you do a few of these, a few points extra for your grade. So that's a total points now of 20. And then for the actual, let's go to down here. The InDesign book never had a critique, so that one is simply a submission. However, if you're stuck or you want critique on it beforehand, you're certainly welcome to send me a PDF. If you run into technical questions, you might also need to send me your InDesign file. And the proof of printing your book is just at the very end of the semester. And this time, where I realize money might be an issue more than ever, if it's impossible for you to do it, just let me know. And we can, I'll do adjustments as needed. And then the last two are the website ones. It seems like a lot of content, but these are rather short things to look at, and I have videos for them as usual underneath the websites and Dreamweaver tutorials. So take a look at those ones. They are extreme step by step. All you're essentially doing is switching out colors, your photographs, and your logo. If you need help remaking a logo or making one at all, I can make one for you. Just tell me what text you need, because if at this point you don't have Photoshop or Illustrator access, that's where it gets a little tricky. If you can make them, by all means. I can also resize photos if you don't have access to Photoshop anymore. That's something I can definitely do. You just have to tell me what specific size you're looking for. So you'll just have to, I would suggest doing this one as simply as possible. Like, you don't need to do these extra drop down menus, anything like that. Just follow the tutorials to keep it as simple as possible. So things you'll be changing are link colors. Also, I forgot to mention that part. And we are not going to submit for peer critiques, but you'll submit it and then other people can view it. This one, I can tell you, tends to be a little harder for people to do because I think they have a mental block. They think it's going to be hard because it's code based. But if you follow along really carefully, slow it down, don't do it all at once. I'd say, do an hour or two at a time until you're done. Everybody gets through it. Everybody always submits something. So you just have to be patient with this particular one because it's not going to be as fun as the other projects. It's just a good knowledge base for you to have as you go out in the world. You won't be totally clueless about what HTML and CSS are. And then finally, we do have, for the grade is due basically during midterms at the very end of, not midterm, sorry, the very end of our final exam week. Just, we aren't going to have any kind of test at this point. I'm not going to bother with that. So really, this is kind of like your final thing. And then the CMS website is one of the simplest of the semester, just because it's not a huge learning curve. I shouldn't say that. For some people, it might be different. Typically, it takes people, I'd say, 3 to 4 hours to do it. So keep in mind, and there is no critique for this one at any way normally. So you can always ask me, send me your stuff. The one thing that can be funky about this particular one is depending on which platform you choose to use, whether it's Squarespace, Wix, WordPress, or if you find a different one you'd rather use, that is a proper CMS, a content management system. It's basically you don't have to do coding. Some of them you can, but you don't have to, and that's how a lot of things are made now. But if you do know it, if you do know some coding, you can actually change the templates in Squarespace. Wix doesn't really use code that is available to people, and then WordPress, you can go in and do some editing of code depending on which template you use. Anyway, these are some of the tutorials. I would suggest, if you've never done any CMS, to do WordPress, just so you get a feel of that, since a lot of people have those for their company websites. These can be real for you later. I don't expect anyone to pay anything for these. You can just do the trials. Now, or like you can basically have one for free as long as you have their domain name in it. So the one thing to note about these is that Squarespace does not let outside people see the pages properly, so you will have to send me screenshots or send me access to like the login and password to the site. Wix typically will let people see it. It's not a problem. WordPress typically isn't a problem, but Squarespace always has been. So you'll just choose it. You can do the exact same content as your other website. That's totally fine. Same pictures, same logo, same everything. If you want to do something different, of course you're welcome to. In the end, you'll make 3 pages. These are typically made by the system itself. So it's not really making 3 pages, it's utilizing 3 pages. A blog post if it's possible. There's videos for this, so I'm not going to get all in there, but at least you kind of get a sense of what those are about. And that's what's going to be due for the rest of the semester. I've opted not to do the reflection paper or the final exam because it's just, I think we've got enough going on, and it's kind of impossible to proctor the online exam anyway. So that's it. Those of you guys who have Adobe Access, this is smooth sailing for you. I would say do your best to get the stuff in by the due dates. If something's not able to be turned in by due date, just please let me know when to expect it, so I don't bother you about it. And then for those of you who are at this point still without Adobe Access, we are waiting to hear from Adobe as well as the IT people at Creighton. They keep asking us random questions. Hopefully they've got this figured out by tomorrow, and hopefully by early next week we have access. In the meantime, you can follow the link I sent earlier in the announcements about using 1-week trials. You basically just do one at a time. Make an account, do Photoshop if you need it at some point. Just wait on that in case you want to do it for the photos for your book or website stuff. Otherwise, you have a week to use InDesign, a week to use Dreamweaver if you want to use it for the coding, and then Illustrator for a week to finish things up. So the big thing is, if you're running into issues, just please email me. I'm going to, it's in my syllabi, but I'll also just go ahead and send my phone number. It's 612-240-2070. So you are welcome to call me if you are running into any issues. I'll post it in this announcement for this too. So hopefully this is smooth sailing for most of us. If not, I'm here to help as usual. It'll just be from my home to your home and back and forth instead via this internet. I hope you are well and stay well.